welcome to this video on MAD and IQR. So let's take a look at the box in the middle so we can understand what is the MAD and the IQR. First, in order to understand what those two things are, we need to know what absolute deviation is, because in the word MAD, the A and the D stand for absolute deviation. And that is basically the distance between each data value and the mean. So I'm subtracting the average or the mean with each data value. That, since it is a distance, it is a positive number always. Now when I look at the MAD stands for the mean absolute deviation, which means after I find each one of those distances, the absolute deviations, from the average, I then find the average of it. So it's the average of the absolute deviations of a set of data. So the hardest part about this lesson is understanding this vocabulary. Once you understand this, it will be fairly easy to compute. The IQR, interquartile range, is what that stands for, is the difference between the third quartile and the first quartile. And when we look at example 2, we'll be able to find those quartiles and subtract them. So now let's go look at example number 1 here on the left, and we're going to be finding the mean absolute deviation, also known as the MAD. In order to do that, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find the average or the mean. And what I need to do is add up all the numbers, 8 plus 8 plus 10 plus 12 plus 17. And when I do that, I get 55. And I divide by, there are 5 numbers, so I get an average of 11. Now I need to find each of the absolute deviations. So 11 to 8, that distance is 3. The distance from 11 to 8 again is 3. From 10 to 11 is 1. From 12 to 11, they are one space away on a number line from each other. And 17 to 11 is a distance of 6. Those are the absolute deviations. We have 5 answers because there are 5 numbers. Now to find the MAD, the mean absolute deviation, I'm going to find the average of those new numbers, the 3 plus the 3 plus the 1, 1, and the 6. When I add all that together, I get 14. And now I divide by 5 because there are 5 numbers. 14 divided by 5, I get a MAD of 2.8. Now the MAD, all that does is tells me about how far each number is from my average of 11. So my average was 11. The MAD is 2.8. That's saying that on average, not every single number, is about 2.8 from my average of 11. Now if we look over here on the right, the IQR, we're describing how spread out the data is, but this time we're using the median and we're using the quartiles. We want to know quartile 3 minus quartile 1. And this will tell us how spread out the data is for 50% of the data. Because if you recall, between each one of these, this is 25% of the data. So between each group here is 25% of the data. And if you're doing quartile 1 and quartile 3, I know that this one here is quartile 1, and this one here is quartile 3. So I'm looking at how spread out 50% of the data is. So in this example, Q3 is at 92, and Q1 is at 80, and 92 take away 80 is 12. So we know it has a spread of about 12 here in half of the data. So that would be your IQR. I hope that this little video has helped you to understand how to find the MAD as well as the interquartile range, the IQR, and also understand what you are finding. Good luck in the rest of the worksheet, and I hope to see you again in future videos. Bye for now.